Fight.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kiki and I'm back again with another video. In today's video, this is very personal, okay? This is very personal and this is very much part of my life, which is why I'm sharing it with you guys. And I really want to educate people. I want to spread awareness. Kiki's life is not as it seems. I don't know how I'm coming across, but I really want you guys to understand what we're really dealing with, okay? So I'm 22 years old. I have a 3-year-old son, Zion, and I've got a 1-year-old. She just turned 1, Esme. Esme was born a healthy baby last year in the late autumn. I mean, I'd had a baby before, so I knew what I was expecting. Had a newborn, wonderful. Sleepless nights, yes, blah 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 blah, nothing abnormal. So at around 8 weeks old, Esme caught a really bad cold because Zion goes to school and he goes to nursery and stuff, so he's always bringing in colds and all of this rubbish, especially in the winter. Baby Esme caught a really bad cold. Unfortunately, it was her first cold that she'd ever had. Esme had only been out of the womb, out of the belly, for approximately 6 to 8 weeks before she caught a really bad cold. Now this cold turned into a really bad cough, and I'm talking like she was coughing, she would be coughing up. Can you imagine that? A little six to 8 week old baby coughing so badly. She had a terrible cough. She sounded like a horse, literally like a barking dog. It was horrible. So she's trying to fight off this cold or whatever, and one day I realized that she's gone off of her milk, so she's not taking any feeding, she's refusing to drink her milk, and she also had a temperature. So now I'm thinking, like, what is going on? Calpol, I think, is from 3 months, so because she was under 3 months old, I couldn't give her Calpol. So I was thinking, she's got a temperature, what am I meant to do? So I called 111. So I told them the situation. They asked me some routine questions. Is she doing this? Is she breathing? Is she okay? How long has she had this cold, cough, blah blah. So I was telling them everything, and long story short, they decided to send over a paramedic to the house to come and check her out. So when they arrived, they had a look at her, and they weren't happy with the way that she sounded when she was breathing. So basically they wanted to take her into the hospital. So we went to the hospital by ambulance and we arrived at the hospital. So this is Esme's first hospital trip since she was born. Little did I know this was the start of many more, literally. So at the hospital, the doctors checked out Esme and they diagnosed her with bronchiolitis. Bronchiolitis is a lower respiratory tract. So yeah, it's basically a sort of lung infection that affects babies under the age of 2 years old. And because of the breathing and the coughing, she had a lot on her chest, so she actually ended up being in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days on oxygen to help her breathe. So it was hard, it was really scary, you know. It was scary, and even being on children's wards in the hospital, now I can say now I'm actually used to it. Unfortunately, I can say that I'm used to the hospital and I'm used to the wards, but that being the first trip, being around all the sick children, it's a lot, you know. It's really emotional. So after about 2 or 3 days of being on the oxygen, she was well enough to be sent home. So yeah, we all go home and she recovers just in time for Christmas. So that's Christmas 2019. Everything was fine. So after a couple of weeks of Esme being out of the hospital for this lung infection, I realized that every time she coughed or every time she cried or like tensed her stomach, there would be a bulge that would, like, I don't know how to explain this. Her belly button would bulge a little bit whenever she did too much movement or stuff like this, and that wasn't how it was before. So I've noticed a change and now I'm concerned. So me being me, you guys don't know, but listen, I'm a Google queen. I will Google the hell out of everything, yeah. I will Google and Google and Google until I get my answer. Do you get it? I went on Google, typed in the symptoms or what it could be, trying to figure out what's going on with my child. And Google was telling me that my daughter had a hernia. And I was thinking, right, like that would make sense because she had that bad cough. And when I say she was coughing, she would cough so hard. She gave herself a hernia from all that coughing when she had the bronchiolitis. So I'm like, oh no. Now that I know it's a hernia, I need to take her to the GP because they need to, you know, clarify what's going on. So I take her to the GP and he confirms that yes, she's got a hernia. So the way of fixing this issue is she's gonna have to undergo surgery. She's gonna have an operation. Now, my baby is 6 to 8 weeks old. I don't understand what you mean she has to have an operation at that young age. So now Esme has to have an operation to sort out the hernia. So the GP referred Esme to the hospital to have this operation, and within a week or less, Esme had a date for operation day. Now this bit's important. Esme's operation date was the 20th of January. Esme had her vaccinations on the 15th of January, so that's 5 days before the operation. So yeah, the day comes for Esme to have her operation. It's a very scary day for all of us because our baby, like, she's gonna have to be put to sleep for this operation, obviously. So that was so scary. Like, I don't know if any of you guys, if you have any children or if you don't have children, but when your kids get put to sleep and stuff, it's so scary because anything can happen, do you know what I mean? They done the operation, everything went to plan, and literally, how long was it? I think it took an hour or two for the operation, and then she recovered a little bit for an hour or so, and then she was sent home. Like, she literally had the operation. Imagine that tiny baby, yeah, had an operation and got sent home on the same day. So it was very scary. I brought her home thinking like, like, this is deep, you know. You know, the cut that they made during the surgery was really small. They hid it really well, so you can't even see the scar. There's no scar or nothing. Like, it's actually pretty amazing. There's no scar, nothing like that, which is really good. It healed really well. So pretty soon after the operation, I noticed a change in Esme. She just seemed quieter. There was no eye contact from her. It's almost like she wasn't developing. The first year of a baby's life is really, really important, and they're growing and developing super, super fast. Literally, they're learning new things every day, literally, from the day that they're born. But after the operation, Esme seemed to not be making any progress. Like, her development just stopped or it slowed down. I'm not sure what happened, but something has happened. I'm not saying it's to do with the operation, and I'm not saying that it's not to do with the operation. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say regarding that. Like, she wasn't playing with toys. Like, she didn't reach out for any toys. She couldn't hold any toy. Like, it was abnormal. And as I've had a child before, I knew that it was abnormal, and her behaviour was very different to Zion's when he was a baby. I told friends and family about this. I kept asking, like, is it normal? Like, do you think it's normal, and do you think she should be doing this by now or this by now? And you know what? Most of my family and most of my friends was telling me, all babies are different, don't worry about it. Like, just because she's not doing what Zion was doing doesn't mean she's not going to do it. Like, they're all different, which is 100% true. Every baby is different. They're not all going to be doing the same things at the same time. But Mama Bear knew that something was wrong. Yeah, Mama Bear had an instinct. So eventually, after I think it was a couple of months, 2 or 3 months went by, I took her to see the health visitor. So this was this year, May, I think it was, when was it? I think it was March, May, it was March or May or something like that. So we'd just gone into lockdown. So getting appointments. So obviously I'm having all these doubts, these concerns about my child, and I can't even see a medical professional about it without it being a big hassle because we're in lockdown. So my health visitor managed to get me a face-to-face appointment. So I took her into the children's centre for her to be assessed with her development. So the health visitor does a questionnaire. There's 30 questions. It's just questions like, can your baby do this? Can your baby do that? Does your baby do this? Does your baby do that? So there was 30 questions. Esme could do 5 things. Esme could do 5 out of 30 things. That's when I that's when I knew, like, this isn't just every baby's different. This, like, there's something going on. Do you understand? Esme's health visitor shared my concerns. She was, you know, she was like, you was right to bring her in or whatever, like, well done or whatever. And And I think, yeah, that's when she got diagnosed with developmental delay. Now, developmental delay, if you do not know, is developmental delay refers to a child that has not gained the developmental skills expected of him or her compared to other babies his age or her age. Delays may occur in the area of motor function, speech and language, cognitive, play and social skills. Esme was delayed in each area. Yeah, so that's called global developmental delay, when the child is delayed in every area and every aspect. Sorry guys, this is really hard for me to talk about. This is the first time I'm like proper sitting down and just talking about Esme's first year. Do you get it? It's been emotional. It's been really difficult, and it's taken me a very long time. I don't know, I was gonna say it's taken me a long time to accept this reality, but I don't think I fully accepted it, I'm not going to lie to you. So now Esme has been diagnosed with global developmental delay. So she's been referred to different people, physio, speech and language therapist, dietitian, like everyone, just to help her in those different aspects, to help her development. Not long after that diagnosis, Esme started to do these strange movements. You do these strange movements where she would fling up her arms and her legs and her head would go forward, almost like a crunching, and she would keep doing it. I didn't have a clue what that was about, because it would be it started off very random, like she would randomly do it and I'm like, but then by then she stopped, so I'm just like, okay. But as time went on, the length of time she was doing it for got longer and the movements intensified. I knew something bad was going on, and whatever was going on was getting worse. And the movements weren't nothing like anything I'd seen before either, so I was confused and I was very concerned now. I'm getting very concerned. So what does Kiki do? I go back onto Google and I Google the hell out of it to see what is going on with my child. Now, Google isn't always the best source, I'm not going to lie to you. Thinking the developmental delay is linked to these movements now, and when I looked that up on Google, it was talking about cerebral palsy, it was talking about epilepsy, it was talking about autism. Like, Google will give you every single thing. That can make it worse for you because you're gonna start panicking. You are gonna start panicking. But I wasn't panicking when I saw this stuff, which was weird to me. I wasn't panicking because it was more like a puzzle being fit together. So I called the GP to tell him about these movements, and because we was in lockdown, I couldn't get her an appointment, so I had to send them a video of her doing these movements over to the GP via email. Like, what is going on in this world, please? Because people need medical assistance. I sent him over the video and he told me that Esme most likely has colic. So he's the doctor, he's on the other side. I've sent him the email, he's looked at the video over the email, and he's came to the conclusion that Esme has colic. I don't know what colic is completely, but it's something to do with like when the baby's having problems feeding and they get really uncomfortable and there's a lot of discomfort or whatever. So that's what he thought these movements were. I wasn't having that. I've had a baby before. I know what colic is. My baby Zion didn't have colic, but I know what colic is. I'm not silly, and I do my research and I educate myself when it comes to like medical issues and stuff. So colic, I wasn't feeling the cold colic thing, and Esme's still doing these movements. I called 111. I called 111 and told them about these movements, and because it was going on for a long time, like I think the longest amount of time she was doing it for was 10 minutes, and that's a long time. And I don't know what she's really doing, do you know what I mean? Called 111, they brought out another ambulance and they took Esme straight to the hospital because they didn't know, and it wasn't anything that we should really be ignoring, so she needed to be seen at the hospital. So when we got to the hospital, I showed the doctor the video straight away. This doctor looked at me and said, he looked at this video for all of 20 seconds, yeah? He's looking at the video. He tells me that it looks like Esme's been having some kind of seizures, okay? Now, but the GP just told me she's got colic. The NHS are messing up big time, yeah? The amount of people that are being neglected medically because of this lockdown, because of this whole coronavirus, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's dangerous. And I feel like people should be held accountable, if I'm going to be completely honest. He told me that she's been having some kind of seizures, and that is when she got diagnosed with a condition called infantile spasms. Now, infantile spasms is a complex and rare epilepsy disorder that affects babies and infants. Left untreated, it can have some serious fatal consequences. It can lead to death in some babies and cause intellectual disabilities and developmental problems in others. Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Developmental delay. My baby already got diagnosed with developmental delay. It's like a puzzle, like things were just starting to fit together, and it was just like, oh my days, this is so serious. Even after the seizure has gone, in some cases, the damaging brain effects can remain. Yeah, when you're having seizures, yeah, when anybody's having seizure, you're doing damage to your brain. This year's been the craziest year of my life. Yeah, it's been the craziest year. So from taking her to the hospital and getting this diagnosis from the doctor, thank goodness, he's a superstar for getting it that quick. They was really quick with it. So yeah, we ended up being in the hospital for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks were intense. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible, especially with all the corona, all the rules and restrictions in hospitals. It was awful. She was in there for 2 weeks. She was in 2 different hospitals for 2 weeks, while they did loads of tests. One of the tests she had to be put to sleep for again. You know, she got put to sleep for the operation, now she's getting put to sleep again. And she was on a shit ton of medication. She was completely drugged up. Like, my baby, she was not as I had known her. It appeared like she was getting worse while she was in there, because she was so drugged up, and it was horrible. While she was in the hospital, one of the tests that she had was for her eyes, which was something completely separate. But the doctors had noticed that it's like her eyeballs were always moving to the side like this. So she had to have an eye test. Now, giving a baby an eye test is really difficult, because they don't keep still. They don't keep their eyes open. If anything, they'll close their eyes as a reaction to the torch in their face. So yeah, she had to have loads of tests before they came up with anything. She had to be seen by different eye doctors, because some of them couldn't do certain tests. So eventually we were told some more devastating news. We were told that Esme had cataracts in both eyes. Now, cataract is like, I don't know, it's like an eye condition where your eye lens gets cloudy or it gets misted. So literally everything's blurry. If you have good eye vision, your eye lenses are clear. If you don't, then it's going to be blurry. So yeah, cataracts makes your eyesight extremely blurry. I think the doctor actually compared Esme's vision to looking through frosted glass. And if you try to look through frosted glass. So that was really heartbreaking. He also said that it's not something that can be fixed. And that is what, like, I feel like I'm living in a dreamland, honestly. I feel like I'm not even awake in 2020, because it's a nightmare. I don't understand what's going on. There's a lot going on, and I still have days where I feel hopeless and down and helpless towards her, because I can't make her better. She's not on as many medications now. It's been a couple months and she's been slowly weaned off of the medication. So now she's only on one of them long term, which is meant to prevent seizures. And it has done so far. She hasn't had any since she started. She was on steroid medication as well. So since she started the steroid treatment, she hasn't had any seizures at all, which is good. It was Esme's birthday a couple of weeks ago. She turned 1 and she's doing so well. She's like a completely different child. She's still behind, she's still delayed. But I'm gonna start bringing her on camera and showing you guys just how she is, what she's doing, what she's not doing. And I want to document this whole journey because she is a very special girl. She's a very special girl, and it will be nice to look back on these videos. The videos of her now as a baby, as she grows up and as she develops. We can all see together. We can all learn together, because this is all new to me. Despite Esme's different disabilities, I'm super proud of her because she is so strong and she's a fighter. She's getting stronger every day and she's learning new things every day, and she's come leaps and bounds. So yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with... You got to make the best out of a bad situation. That's what I've had to do. Otherwise I would have driven myself into the ground. So yeah, that is the truth about my daughter. I hope you guys learned something new. When you have kids, it's not a joke. You don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what is around the corner. So be grateful for your healthy children. Be grateful for your kids that are alive and well, not in hospital, not sick. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you want to join my gang, my crew, my family, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye guys.